Yo, what is up, Comfy Gang? It's your boy, Comfy NEET. And so it looks like I failed my promise to upload 4 videos a week. So as a result of that, stay tuned on my server for the eventual drop of Discord Nitro for free. And I will probably log on sometime later tonight. And I'll also be staying to chat since I haven't been on there for a while. But anyways, for this video, I wanted to talk about another thing that a lot of these could probably relate to, and that is the fact that I hate it when people visit the house, and I hate it when there are strangers who enter the house. And I'll also be talking about what I do when that happens. So firstly, the reasons I hate it is mostly, they mostly have to do with my social anxiety and the general fear and hatred I have for being rejected and being, I don't know if looked down upon is the right word, but more like just, I hate that look of being like off-put by somebody that people can give me sometimes, with that sort of aloofness where you can sort of see the contrast between when they first meet you, when everything's a blank slate and they're sort of like open and social, but the moment they sense something is off about you, there's sort of like a subtle shift in their demeanor where they start avoiding making eye contact with you, and it almost seems like they go out of their way not to look at you when they're talking, or not to ask you anything unless absolutely necessary for the conversation, or as an attempt to see if you're normal or not, or to maybe break the ice or the awkwardness a little bit. And I just hate that feeling of being judged by other people. So as a result of that, whenever, let's say for example, the doorbell rings, or when someone knocks at the door, or I hear the door open slightly and I'm nearby the stairs, I will immediately either brisk walk, or if I'm far and the doorbell is still ringing and nobody's answering it, or someone who's about to answer it is a fair distance away, I will immediately stop whatever I'm doing, be it cooking, eating, or playing guitar or something, and I'll either brisk walk or run to the stairs, and then quickly dash all the way down the stairs into my room, close the door. I'm not gonna lock it because my room actually doesn't have a lock, but close the door, and then either A, pretend that I'm sleeping, or B, pretend that I'm on my headphones, or C, pretend that I'm gaming with the volume really loud, and so that it just sounds like I'm busy doing something. And I mostly do all that stuff in my room for the sake of plausible deniability, not just to other people on the outside in case they do come downstairs, because they mostly don't come down. But there are times when they do, which I'll talk about in a few stories in a bit. But it's generally also in a way to lie to myself, to say that, kind of like rationalize to myself almost that I'm doing something else. It's kind of like soothing myself psychologically a little bit, resolving that cognitive dissonance I experienced from running to my room and hiding, because I generally like to believe that I'm a fairly normal person, and I think that I am fairly normal, although, relative to a lot of people out there, but compared to the average person, I am pretty much not just socially inept, but pretty socially anxious, and just fairly messed up as far as self-esteem and confidence issues goes. And so as a result of that, I will end up resorting to these sort of behaviors, and will do other things to help rationalize the way I'm behaving, even though I consciously know that what I'm doing is completely effed up and stupid and pointless. I do it so that, it's like I'm tricking my sort of lower order brain into thinking that I'm somewhat normal, just resolving that anxiety that comes from experiencing cognitive dissonance or shame or all of these negative emotions. And yeah, so that's generally the reason of why I do it. And so anyways, a few examples of this are, for example, sometimes my family will hire these cleaners who are sort of like family acquaintances, and when they do hire them, I will generally they usually come at a set time, and I hate it when my parents don't tell me when they're coming, because if I'm not aware of this, then I will immediately run down, because I will immediately panic and just run to my room and lock myself in. Well, I do that either way, but generally speaking, it is nice to have a little bit of a head start, or a little bit of notice of the fact that they're coming, so I can be mentally prepared for having to stay in my room. But if either way, I will end up just staying in. Oftentimes they will come downstairs and do some of the cleaning and stuff like that, and I will just pretend to be asleep, and I told my parents that I clean my own room, and that, or I'm perfectly fine with cleaning my own room, so I don't need them to come in and knock on the door and ask if my room needs to be cleaned. So I will generally just do that, stay in my room the whole time. And mostly if it's in the morning and I have an excuse to be asleep, I will pretend to be just lying in bed, and I'll roll around sometimes to make it to, I don't know, almost let them know that I'm asleep in bed, even though they probably can't even fucking hear me. But that's just sort of the thought process that goes in my head, because obviously I care way too much about what other people think. And yeah, there's that. Another time is pretty recent. Is one time this repair guy came to the house, and he pretty much only went straight from the living room to the I guess the basement compartment where all the pipes are, to fix something to do with the heating. Something was frozen or something, so it needed to be fixed. And basically he wasn't even on the outside talking to anybody. He would be in this I'll just show the door. He would be in this room right here where all the heating and the pipes are and crap. And obviously it wouldn't have been such a big deal, but regardless of the fact that he would be in there the whole time, I still locked myself up in my room and basically did the exact same few things that I talked about, and just basically spent the whole time lying in bed and listening to music. And obviously you might be wondering if there's something like completely like effed up about me. Like, is the reason I do this because I'm gonna end up attacking the person, or just having a nervous breakdown, or becoming a catatonic schizophrenic out of the sheer existential dread and horror of having to deal with another person who isn't my parents, or who I'm not well acquainted with. And the fact of the matter is that no, that's not the case. Actually, I'm perfectly capable of behaving somewhat normally. I can at least greet people, and obviously I'm not going to be like super outgoing, or I don't know if magnanimous is the right word, but I'm not going to be like super charismatic when I do it. But I'm perfectly willing to let's say someone walks in the front door, and I'm still eating, and there's no time for me to get down to my room. I'm perfectly capable of just finishing my meal. And obviously even though I want to finish as fast as possible, or literally just pick up my plate immediately and dump it in the trash can, dump all the food in the trash can and put it in the sink and just go straight to my room. Obviously I have the social wherewithal to realize that would obviously be fairly off-putting to the other person, and would also make them kind of feel bad, like, because I guess everybody is socially anxious to an extent, so it might make them feel like there's something wrong with them, or that there's something wrong with me. But whatever the case is, I'm not socially retarded enough to actually do that. I'll just casually eat my meal. I'll probably greet them and say hi or something, and I'll just finish my meal, and I'm not going to go out of my way to look like I'm engaged in the conversation, or because obviously, firstly, it usually doesn't have anything to do with me, and secondly, I don't want to sit there and talk to stuff about people, talk to people about stuff that I'm not interested in anyways. So I will just, yeah, because generally the people visiting my house are boomers, and I don't really have a lot to say to boomers because I can't really relate to them. So yeah, I will generally just sit there quietly, eat my meal, and then, you know, casually pick up the plate and look like I'm not panicking on the inside at all, even though I actually, you know, just absolutely hate it. And then I will go straight to my room and then act in the exact same way. And I won't leave my room, and I won't open the door until I know for sure that the person has left, based on the footsteps. And oftentimes my hearing is pretty sensitive, so I can generally hear when people are still in the house or not. So yeah, and these are two examples. I mean, not examples, but these are, what was I even saying? Yeah, so that's exactly, so I mean, I am perfectly capable of behaving normally. I can, you know, greet somebody, say, oh, hey, how are you, man? And, or hey, how are you? And, hey, nice to meet you. I can do the basic stuff like that. Obviously, I come across as off-putting while doing it, but, you know, I'm capable of, you know, appearing as just, quote unquote, you know, shy or a lot of that stuff, even though, I'd say my social anxiety extends way past shyness into, you know, pathological territory. Pathological for myself, pretty much. I doubt this sort of stuff hurts anybody other than myself, but yeah. Is it something I'm proud of? No. Is it something that, you know, I condone? Absolutely not. Obviously, I do intend to change for the better eventually, but I'm just keeping it real with you guys and basically talking about how I actually am in social situations and in situations where strangers, I have to meet strangers. Obviously, this is just one example of how I behave when I meet strangers, but yeah, I think it's pretty relevant to a lot of meets because a lot of us are in our homes, and I have read a few posts on r/NEET or some other places where people have pretty similar experiences, and generally speaking, NEETs overlap heavily with hikikomoris. I'm not going to say that I'm a full-on hikikomori because I can't leave the house to do things, but generally speaking, I will behave like a hiki if given the chance, and I will, generally speaking, you know, isolate myself in my room for as long as possible. So yeah, I think if I keep talking, I'll probably end up ranting or rambling about things that are completely unrelated. So I will probably end the video here. So yeah, hopefully you guys like this new camera angle, and I'm just, you know, trying to switch it up because, you know, it's hard to make all these videos unique. And yeah, stay tuned for the Discord Nitro drop that's happening on my server pretty soon, and I will be staying in chat for a bit as well. So yeah, this is Company NEET signing out.